Hey everybody, it is Steve here with the Orange Whip. Thanks for joining our webinar. We've got some great content for you today. I am working on a few things here that I kind of just mistracked, but thanks for joining us. We're here coming from Easley, South Carolina, our headquarters. A few things for the webinar. If you're joining us, you probably see a red arrow on your screen. That's the navigation button. Click that arrow if you want to expand. That's going to where you answer questions. We'll have 10 minutes of questions at the end of our webinar. It's going to be a live demo today. Jim Hackenberg is going to present our new products in the short game and also talk about the full swing and how it translates to all year round training, how you can keep your swing intact. So, you know, if you live up north, 6 months off, you don't come into March and April, and you know you have to start all over with your swing. So he'll give a live demo for about 30 minutes. I also have some handouts available in your navigation bar. There's 3 handouts, I believe. You can access those and download them during the webinar. Like I said, 10 minutes in the last for questions at the end, and we'll also have the recording available. That'll come out in email tomorrow, and you'll also see that on social media. And we'll also have a short survey. If you could take just a few minutes with the email that we get after this webinar, I would appreciate it. Now I just want to introduce Jim. Let's get right into this. He's going to talk about grooving your swing all year round. You know, the only way to get better is if you do something about it, and we feel that the Orange Whip can help you do that. He's going to give a short game demonstration and also some full swing demonstrations. We're going to talk a little bit about testing that we've done with the Orange Whip and we're starting to do, and also the 30-day challenge that a lot of our instructors and people that are visiting us on social media are starting to do, which is really cool. And like I said, the last 10 minutes is going to be question and answer, and Mandy's going to be helping with that as well. So I'm going to turn this over to Jim, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Hello everyone, welcome. We are here in the Orange Whip Performance Center. I want to first thank Doug Wald and the rest of his staff and our staff for producing this awesome room for testing, training, performance improvement, and basically we're going to have a simulator here as well where we can play golf courses. So we're going to use this area quite a bit, and like Steve stated, we are looking for your input and advice on how we can utilize this space, utilize some of our technology to really develop some good skills in your golf game. Now, it's a little warm here, and as we all know, it's mid-August. Mid-August, this is when we've been playing golf all summer long. We've been hitting balls, we've been putting, we've been playing. Our game is in shape. We're hopefully playing your best golf of the year right now. My goal is to allow us to continue keeping that full mid-season form all year long. If you can do a few certain little drills that I'm going to go through, if you do this every day, you'll be in mid-season form all year long. And as I stated, it's August, so we're playing a lot of golf. But you know what? School is right around the corner. That's going to start to cut into our golfing time. We've got cooler temperatures up north hitting here pretty soon. Once it gets cold, a lot of people put their clubs away. They don't make another swing until March or April. Well, now they've got to relearn the swing. Also, football. That takes up a lot of time. People want to watch football, be involved with it. I've got some ideas on how you can utilize football as one of your benefits. So let's get into this. Let's get into some of the applications we can use the Orange Whip products, as well as just basic fundamentals of teaching and learning golf that can enhance everyone's game, keep their body in better shape, and keep their mind ready for the new golf season coming up next year. I'm going to start us off with the putter. We've got the new Orange Whip putter. We've got the Orange Whip putter with a very unique head design. It's got the radiused face, so you've got to hit the ball in the center. Also, we've got the patented Orange Whip shaft. You can see that flex. That shaft and the counterbalance is allowing you to learn rhythm and proper sequence in your putting stroke. If you have a nice rhythm and you make a consistent motion back and forth, you're going to be more consistent on the greens. Now, granted, it's the middle of August. We've probably got a pretty good feel for the greens, but once you set this aside, and once you set your putter aside, you start to lose your touch. When you lose your touch, then you have no feel, and then you have no idea when you go back to playing golf. So let me go over just a few basic uses for this Orange Whip putter so you can find a good way to apply it to your own game all year long. First off, get into your normal address position you would with your putter. I'm going to then very slowly start to move this putter head back and forth. And notice I'm not even doing much work yet with my arms or my shoulders. It's really, I'm just getting the feel of that head swinging. As I go further back, notice how my arms and shoulders are now included. And notice that if I take it back to this distance, I'm following through the same amount. This is a consistent motion that will allow you to repeat the swing and know exactly how far you want to roll it. But if you don't do this on a regular basis, it's going to become awkward and you're going to lose that feel. So I highly recommend doing some nice little strokes, get a feel for it, and try to avoid too much of this. You want it to flow with the natural flow of the shaft. After you've gotten a feel for the putter, at your home, your office, anywhere you have a piece of carpet or somewhere you could roll a few putts, I recommend also rolling putts with it because it's giving you the feel of the swing and the center impact. And the center impact is very important. On our little putting surface here, I've got a line that goes directly to the hole. That's allowing me to visually know where my eyes are in relation to the golf ball, but also the direction of the putter I'm swinging. So this is a nice way to assist in your training. So I will line up, I will get centered, and then I will just make my smooth stroke and allow the putter to do the work. Now, after practicing with the Orange Whip putter, always go back to your putter because there's going to be a different sensation with it. So I will take my putter, normal standard putter that you would see most regularly, and I'm going to take this, and before I hit any balls with it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a feel for the swinging of the putter head and let that motion develop. Continue that motion until it becomes very natural and everything is flowing. And the distance back is equivalent to the distance through. That distance is what will allow you to control your distance. So find a rhythm to it, learn at different lengths. At home, at the office, putt multiple lengths. Same situation. I'm going to place the ball underneath the yellow line. I'm going to get squared up, square my feet, hips, body to this line, and just try to emulate the same swing I learned with the Orange Whip putter. Now, we have one more usage for the Orange Whip putter, and this is especially if you're in the middle of winter and it's cold and snowy and you're bored and you want to work on your putting, take your putter head, we've got 2 set screws at the bottom of it, flip it and put it into the opposite-handed position. Currently, this is set up for a left-handed golfer, but I'm going to hit on the back side of it. Much smaller target, so it's a very small radius to hit the very small radius of the putter, or excuse me, of the golf ball. So from this position, this will allow me to really stay focused on the center contact that I must make with a putter. So I line up, I get myself comfortable and balanced, and then I'll very smoothly make a stroke to this ball. Fortunately, I hit it in the center, and the ball rode dead straight. So this Orange Whip putter gives you a few different utilities, hitting from this side or hitting from this side, but also the shaft. It teaches proper rhythm and sequencing. Now, let's move into another portion of the short game. We're going to work into chipping, pitching, and flop shots. And I'm going to discuss this Orange Whip wedge. This Orange Whip wedge has been inspired by Stan Utley. He's a great short game mentor, teacher, and if you watched him around the green, you'd be amazed at what he can do. So he's been a great inspiration for us. He helped us develop this head. It's got 56 degrees of loft and 12 degrees of bounce, so you can hit quite a few shots with it. Also, the very flexible Orange Whip shaft, the patented shaft, is what allows you the proper sequencing. But before I get into the drills, I'm going to be standing on the orange peel. This orange peel is one of our products with Orange Whip that allows your body to be utilized in a much more athletic manner. In simple terms, it's a stable base, But really what it is, it's got a concave surface that's a radius. And if you expand this radius out, it's a 9-foot sphere. If you're familiar with the Leonardo da Vinci painting, Vitruvian Man, that's what this is. This basically is Vitruvian Man. And if you're familiar with the image, which I believe Steve has up on screen, I'm emulating it, this is Vitruvian Man. My feet are in such a position that it allows my feet to be engaged, my hips, and my core. So it puts me into an athletic position. I will go further into the orange peel with the full swing after we deal with the short game, but let's start with the short game. First off, to allow yourself to make cleaner, crisper contact with the golf ball, there's one simple way to do it. It's allowing your sternum to be at least even with the golf ball, if not even slightly ahead of it. The sternum is right where the buttons of your golf shirt would be. I'm going to use this orange peel and get into a slightly downhill lie. And that's tilting my body forward, therefore making it easier for my sternum to get into that position. So I will use the orange peel to get into that lie angle. I will then allow the club to be swung through to allow it to take the ball away. So let me just demonstrate briefly first. I'm set up, my sternum is in a position where it's slightly ahead of the ball, if not even with it, and then I'll let the club work itself through. So the peel will be utilized for that to allow a much easier way to descend into the golf ball. To train with this orange whip wedge, I'd like to start by the similar way we did the putter. I will get into a setup position, I will get comfortable, I will have the club resting lightly on the surface, and then I'm going to just very slowly start swinging that head. And it starts with my hands very comfortably. And I'm going to let a nice pendulum and brushing the grass. As I go further, my wrists are going to hinge and my arms are going to swing. I'm trying to develop a rhythm and a sequence. If I allow my rhythm and my sequence to improve, I can improve consistency, and it's going to be much more natural for me to hit at the point where the golf ball is located. So get a feel for the orange whip wedge first before you hit any shots, and then if you don't want to hit real golf balls in your house, I understand. That's why today I'm just using these foam balls. I really enjoy the color of them, but they're great foam balls. You can use them in the house, in the garage, anywhere you're not worried about a soft little ball touching or damaging something. So I will show again. I'm going to get into my normal address position. Almost tilt like I'm leaning this way, but not leaning as much as I just want that sternum at the ball or in front of it. From this position, I can just make my swing back and let my body release through. So once you get a good feel for the orange whip wedge on these little shots, use your orange peel to do this. There's going to be times where you will be on the golf course and your ball stops just short of the green on the upslope to the green. Well, I've moved to the front of the orange peel. Now this becomes difficult to keep my sternum in front. I mean, my tendency and gravity wants to push me this way. So I've got to find a way to get my body to still be centered and lean into this hill and allow myself to get the club to the golf ball. So I'll sit and hit a chip shot from here. I made nice contact, but it went lower because of the way that I was positioning myself to get to it. So you can experiment with the more you'd lean back, the higher it would go. The more you'd lean forward, the lower it would go. You can also experiment with moving back on the orange peel so it's ball below your feet. It becomes awkward. It becomes a little off balance. You're more on your toes. The more you can practice these unusual circumstances in the comfort of your home, the better you'll be when you get back to the course. So I can be in this position here, find my balance point, and allow myself to just hit the shot naturally. So using the orange peel is very unique from any lie angle you can find while on it. Now let's take that idea and let's move to the full golf swing. I'm going to start with the orange whip midsize. This device is the same weight and same components as our full-size trainer, but it's 4 inches shorter. This allows you to swing a club that's closer to your hybrid or your long irons. But for some shorter golfers, this really becomes more like their driver. So it's a unique sensation. It's the same feeling, but because it's shorter, you're going to have a different result and a different benefit from it. First and foremost, it's summertime, you're loose, you're in great shape for golf. Come winter, if we put the clubs away, we've lost that. So let me very briefly go through some of the Orange Whip drills that we promote, because this will be the drills and exercises we recommend that you do every day throughout the season to not only improve your game, but also maintain it. To start out by loosening up my feet, my ankles, my knees, my hips, and my back, I'm going to do what we call the torso twist. I'm going to extend my arms fully at stomach height with my palms to the sky. I'm going to have them at stomach level, not chest high, because that's not where I would be if I were set up into my golf swing. So I'm going to have them at stomach height, slight flex to the knees, and I'm going to rotate my body, but I'm going to use my footwork to do this. So I can push with my left foot to start, and then my right. Left, right, left, right. By repeating that motion, you're going to develop the skills for rotating the body. But I'd like to interject here, and this is an error, I shouldn't say an error, but this is something that's happened in my game. I've allowed myself to almost turn too far backward. Therefore, when I swing a golf club, I tend to get it a little too far rotated or pulled around me rather than keeping it on the swing plane. So when we're doing this drill, make sure you're using your footwork, but let's not allow ourselves to go too far back onto that right hip or get it tucked behind you. You want to keep stable here, but then a full body release on the follow-through. Here, full body release. Now, I want to work on the next aspect of the golf swing. We all are very aware that there's a wrist hinge in the golf swing. And when we set this hinge, we're loading up a lot of energy, and then we unload that energy through the ball, through to the target, into our finished position. I would like this motion to be as natural as possible. I don't want it to be something you need to think about. To be able to do an activity without thinking about it, you need to do it on a regular basis. That's another reason why we promote the 30-day challenge. If you do these drills over a 30-day period and make that your focus, it's going to become a very natural, a very athletic motion without the thought. And that's what we're trying to get to. Simple athletic motions without the thought. I'll take my Orange Whip, I will choke down to the sticker or the bottom of the grip, wherever you're more comfortable. Thumb on top, get into my normal stance, tilt, and I will push the Orange Whip to get it started. Almost let it swing. Notice how my wrist is hinging and my forearm is rotating. Here to here. Once I get into a nice motion, I then use the footwork we worked on in the previous drill, allowing myself to load the energy and unload the energy. This is very much like a tennis motion where I'm going to ground stroke forward, backhand, forehand, backhand. Same with the left hand. You're just basically going to get into your comfortable position, push to start, let it flow toward the target, backhand, forehand. After you've developed these skills, continue to do them because you're going to get stronger and more coordinated, and your body, because of the unique design of the Orange Whip, is going to find the most efficient path. Finally, in the simple training skills department, let's go to the full golf swing. I'm a right-handed golfer, but I'm going to start with a left-handed swing. I'm going to put my left hand low on the club. My target will be that way. I'm going to start by very slowly swinging back and forth, allowing the Orange Whip to build up momentum. As you'll notice, my wrists are hinging to support it here and here. As I reach full swing, I can increase the pace and try to improve that balance. I like to do about 10 or 15 swings left-handed, and then I'll switch to the right. From this position, I get settled, I get my grip, I hover the Orange Whip slightly above the ground. Once I find my balance, I'm going to start very slow. It's just a nice swingy motion, letting that momentum build. As I get to the full swing, I can start to power it up and develop a athletic, consistent motion. Now, that is how I warm up, loosen up, and train my swinging motion. But how do I change that into a golf swing? That's a great question that many people ask me. Here's my best answer. After I've done these back and forth repetitive motion drills, let's go into an actual golf swing. Take your orange whip, hover it, and do a nice full swing. And just do that 3, 4, 5 times so you get a good feel for it. After you feel like you've made a very strong athletic motion, grab your golf club. Get a feel for that with this idea, because this is the club we're going to be hitting on the golf course. We want to be ready for it. Get into your normal address position, hover the driver above the ground, and just slowly swing back and forth like it's the orange whip. As you reach full motion, you can power it up and allow the club to swing and carry you through to your target. So these are ways to maintain your athletic golf swing the whole year long, especially after you're already in mid-season form. But let me digress a little bit. Let's go to the thought that, let's say you haven't played all summer and you've actually ingrained some bad habits. That's a major issue for a lot of people. As I spoke of earlier, one of my bad habits that I started ingrained this year was I was starting to turn too early or twist, and I was getting stuck back here. So I've had to work on a few different drills that allow me to stay, let's say, more in a position here to load up this energy so I can unload it, because if I get stuck, I've lost all that momentum and my speed. So let me go through a few of the basic ideas that we have that can help you through the winter go from getting rid of that slice or getting rid of that hook. I'm going to start with the slice because everybody wants to get rid of their slice. So I recommend using the longest orange whip that you can handle, which for me would be the orange whip trainer. Now, it's height related, but it's also skill related. If a person is very much an over-the-top swinger of the club, unless they're shorter than 5'6", I think they should use the trainer, because this is going to help them the best in that department. So with the orange whip trainer being slightly longer, and with my issue, let's say my issue is I'm an over-the-top slicer, I've got to find a way to use gravity and momentum to deliver a club path into the ball that's producing a slight draw rather than an over-the-top glancing motion. So I will move myself forward on the orange peel. I'll get my toes so they're slightly higher than my heels. So it's just like it's a ball above my feet, side heel lie. From here, I will take the longer orange whip and I'll settle into my balance and I'll start slowly. If you can see this arc on this hitting mat, keep an eye on where the orange ball is in regards to that arc as I swing it. My goal would be to learn to go a little bit inside to out, which gravity is allowing me to much more easily attain that. So I'm taking it in, then it swing to the out. By repeating this motion, especially a visual motion that you can see where the ball is going on a path, you're going to develop a skill. That again goes into our 30-day challenge, but you could do it a winter challenge. If you did it all winter, I'm going to highly believe that you're going to come out in the spring. If you've been practicing that path and working on that motion, you're going to have an inside-out path. You're going to allow the club head to release, therefore producing that draw, that powerful draw that a lot of golfers desire to go because they're going to gain so much distance. Another thing that's unique about training in the winter or the off-season, with just swinging the orange ball rather than hitting golf balls, you're not getting the negative feedback of the bad shots. Don't get me wrong, we all hit bad shots and you're going to continue at times to hit them, but if we can lessen the amount of bad shots and greater the amount of good shots, it's going to be a lot more fun. So work on a drill like that to get rid of that slice. Now on the opposite side, let's say you're a person who drops it way inside and they hit a big hook. It happens all the time. Again, hitting balls, I believe, is less important than training the proper motion. So let's go to the orange whip mid-size. And what we're going to do is, because I'm dropping it inside and my path would become away from the inside and then out, and then I'm releasing it, it's going to be a big hook. Or if I don't release it, it's a block that's 40 yards right of the fairway. So I'm going to move myself to the back of the orange peel. I've got my ball. The ball would be below my feet, and my heels are higher than my toes. So gravity is pushing me this way. It's pushing me out. I need to somehow find my balance in that point so that I don't lose control of my balance. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to start very slowly swinging back and forth. Because of my balance point, my club is going to want to go a little bit to the outside, or at least straight down the line on the way back, and then it's going to go a little left. And I'll move it actually left, which in essence is actually making my swing a little more vertical and easier to come down steep into it and come in direct or even cutting it a little bit, which is unusual for somebody who's so used to dropping it way inside. But it's going to take you at least 30 days to train this motion. So find yourself a situation where if you do not have an orange peel, find a way to adjust the tilt that you're on. If you build a little board area or a little flat surface that you can tilt upward, try to stand on that and swing. So from this location, I can make multiple swings and multiple ways to feel that club starting to go left. Also this week, I had spoke with a gentleman who had an issue with early extension. And early extension affects a lot of us because we're trying to get extra power, so we're trying to explode to it, but the club gets lost behind us. Again, I think the main way to deal with early extension is put yourself into a situation where it's harder to do that. And that goes back to the point of where I've got into the ball above my feet side hill lie, basically where gravity is making me fall back this way. It's hard for me to early extend from this lie angle because of gravity. So in your yard or anywhere you can find a slight slope, position yourself there and start just by slowly swinging back and forth, allowing your arms to travel with your body and allowing yourself to stay with the lie angle that you started it, with the posture you started with at address. If we come out of it, that's when it gets to be a difficult situation. So experiment with some of these lie angles, and it will have a big effect on your swing. I'm a proponent of hitting range balls and learning how to swing from a flat surface, but if that's the only thing you're doing, you're missing out on all of the possibilities that come to you on a golf course. Learn to swing a golf club, learn to swing an orange whip on all the uneven lies that you can find. If you have multiple uneven lies that you can practice and get a swing in balance, you're going to be more consistent, and therefore everything will be easier. It's not like you have one shot at it and you hope you do it perfectly, because it doesn't usually work that way. So find these different lie angles, experiment, and see what it does to your game. And you know what? Please give us that feedback, because we here are trying to learn. At Orange Whip, we're trying to learn the best way to express how these products and how these concepts can improve your golf game, can improve your fitness and flexibility, and also just your well-being. So we want us to be interactive in the development of all these skills and abilities, and that's another reason we've developed this Orange Whip Performance Center that we're very excited about. So what I'd like to do now is if we could get into some questions, and if we've got anybody who sent any in, and then I can debate or discuss some of the ideas that have come in from the webinar audience today.
All right, thank you, Jim. Let me introduce myself. I am Mandy Merritt. I'm the Communications Director, and I will be asking some of your questions to Jim. There is still time to write in a few more questions, so if you see there on your right-hand bar, there's an area that says questions. Just type it in there, and the ones we can't get to, we can always email you a response. Also, a reminder, we are doing a giveaway at the end of this. So after the questions are finished, we will announce the giveaway winner of our short game package, which is the new Orange Whip putter and the Orange Whip wedge. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. All right, Jim, how do you correct a reverse C-swing?
Interesting. So whoever asked this question is older than me or about my age or older than me, because back in the day, you could watch Jerry Pate and all those guys, and they were big reverse C. Now, that's an interesting question because I don't know if I know exactly if it's because of the equipment in that day that everybody swung that way, but it's different nowadays. Nowadays they really promote the much more vertical back, probably much healthier way to get with the back. Back in that day, it was a lot more low drive and then core drive leading to that reverse C motion. So in my opinion, the best way to basically get away from the reverse C is this. Well, let me even state it this way. If I put myself into an uphill lie, it's going to be much easier for me to get into that reverse C because it's the shape from my foot up my back into my head. So it's a big C that I've made. But if I get into a downhill lie, this is much harder to finish that way because gravity wants me to be going that way, keeping my spine more vertical. So the easiest answer I have for that, find yourself a downhill lie, take an orange whip, take a golf club, and just slowly swing back and forth, allowing your body to rotate so you stay posted on the left, but your back doesn't get turned this way. Uphill lies will tend to exaggerate the reverse C. I hope that's helpful, but my best advice, work from a downhill lie until it becomes more natural to finish in that position like that.
All right, thanks, Jim. Our next question is, which product would you recommend starting with?
Well, obviously the orange whip was our first product we brought out. It's really what has made us today allow us to bring out the orange peel, the wedge, the putter. So I'd say start with the orange whip because the orange whip is going to teach you the swinging motion. It's going to allow you to be free and natural and athletic, and it's going to always be loosening your body up and making you stronger for golf. So I believe everyone needs an orange whip. The size is dependent upon the person. I think if they're a tall person, you want to look towards the orange whip trainer. Unless they're a tall person who really hooks the ball, then I might lead them to the mid-size. If I have a person who slices the ball a lot, then I may move them to the orange whip trainer. But then if they're a shorter golfer, I might need to move them to the mid-size. So do some research on our website. We've got a few different categories that can explain it. But I'd start with the orange whip. And if you like the orange whip, which I believe you will, check out our other products. And another great thing about the Orange Whip Company, if you buy a product and if you do not like it, even if it's after a few months of experimentation, we will take it back. Money back guarantee. We're so proud of what we have that we believe everyone will like it. We have such a small return amount that we're very happy to help people out who just don't feel they're getting the needs from it. But start with the Orange Whip and then try the rest of them. I think you'll be happy.
Okay, great. Next question is, what is the best exercise to help with turning your hip?
Well, that's a great question. I would say, but I'm going to take this in two parts. I'm going to start it with the torso twist, which I believe is very important by standing with your feet shoulder width apart, arms extended, palms to the sky. And you can do it with an orange whip, you can do it with a golf club, you can do it with a medicine ball. And basically, by using your footwork to push off and allowing your upper torso basically to travel together, I'm using my feet, which is making my body rotate, which is making my hips rotate and turn. Now, having said that, that's a great drill to get your hips to rotate and turn. But with my own game, I was tending to get my hips too deep on the back. So start by training your hip turn that way, but allow yourself to still stay where you're not getting too turned and too stuck behind you. So make sure you find that point that's not getting you stuck, but you're still rotating and turning the hips.
Okay, all right. And next question is, how long of a shot can you hit with the new Orange Whip wedge?
That's a great question. We designed the Orange Whip wedge for short game, for chipping, pitching, flop shots, and even some bunker shots. If you got some pretty good touch, you can use it out of the bunkers. But we'd like to keep it within 25 yards. It's not designed for a full swing. Let me grab the wedge for 1 second. Because the Orange Whip has the wedge has a patented Orange Whip shaft, it's very flexible. the further I swing it back and the faster I swing it to impact the ball, the more likely there'll be shaft droop. And that means that the shaft or the head is drooping down. Therefore, it's not coming into the golf ball in the proper way. And what it leads people to believe is that they're mishitting shots, but it's just because of the design of the shaft. So we highly recommend no further than 25 yards. So 25 yards and in is the way we'd like you to use the Orange Whip wedge.
Okay, great. And what about junior golfers? Very interested in getting an Orange Whip Junior and working with junior golfers around 10 years of age. Any best suggestion for working with juniors in the Orange Whip?
Yes, that's a great question. We have the Orange Whip Junior. Same exact design. We got the weighted ball, counterweight, and very flexible patented Orange Whip shaft. Now, the difference, this is a lighter weight than you'd find on the trainer or the midsize, small and the compact, smaller grip to fit the hands of kids, and we've got a lighter weight on this end. Now, the shaft is a little thinner than you'll find on the Orange Whip trainer, but that's because we've made a shorter, lighter version, and we wanted the kids to still feel the whole reason behind the Orange Whip, which is timing and rhythm. So this device is great for kids, and 10 years old would be probably a perfect candidate for this. We recommend between the ages of 7 and 12 for the junior, but that depends a little bit on skill level and height. But I think of a 10-year-old, it's a perfect call for the junior, because here's why. Kids love hitting things, and that's wonderful. We want to hit it, but sometimes it overtakes them learning the swing. With the Orange Whip Junior, these players can learn to swing and find a rhythm that their body, hands, arms, and feet all work together. And surprisingly, kids love to swing it. It's not like they try 2 swings and they throw it down. They want to find the rhythm to this funny thing because it's moving all over the place. So I highly recommend the Orange Whip Junior.
All right, and we're going to do 2 more questions here. Jim, with the new Orange Whip wedge, do you want the shaft to remain stiff or do you want it to flex?
I believe there's some flex to it because when you're swinging, what you're really doing is you're loading up the energy of that club head and unloading it into the ball, and it carries you into your finish. So to keep something perfectly still would be near impossible, and you'd have to swing it so slow that you wouldn't build up any momentum. Now, it doesn't mean that I want it to go like that, because the more that it flexes there, the more you've lost it. So let me get the wedge again, because that's a great visual, I believe. That's why when I started with the Orange Whip wedge for training, I kind of just start with the head moving, where it doesn't even look like my hands or arms are moving much at all. And there's a little bit of flex, but not much. As I go further back, little bit of flex, but not much. It's really a feel and how you can get to where you make that exact motion so the club flexes slightly and releases slightly. If it's way too flippy, something's out of sync, slow down and just start small again. So start small, but yeah, you do want to have a little flow to it, but I think you're going to feel the right amount. If it feels awkward and it's pulling you, it's probably too much bend.
All right, and for our last question, which of the Orange Whips can you carry in your bag during a round?
Okay. Well, since I'm holding the wedge right here, you cannot carry the Orange Whip wedge in the bag because this is something you could hit a golf ball with. So that's number one. You cannot carry it as an additional club. If you've already got 14 clubs and this is in your bag, it will be a penalty. Same goes with the putter. If you're carrying it as an additional club, it's going to be a penalty because you can hit a golf ball with it. But when we get to the Orange Whip, the original Orange Whip with this orange ball on the end, you wouldn't hit a golf ball with this. And if you did, it wouldn't be very effective. So I've sent this to the USGA, and they've stated that you can carry this in your golf bag as long as you don't take it out and use it during a competitive round. Quite similar to a alignment rod. You see a lot of players with alignment rods in their bags. They don't put it down on the tee before they hit a tee shot. If they did, it would be a penalty. Same with the Orange Whip. You can have it in the bag, but just don't take it out and use it on the course. Now, if you're playing a fun round with your buddies, or you're out practicing at night and you start to lose your rhythm, I actually highly recommend taking it out then and finding that sequence. But if it's a competitive round, nope, can't do it. But carrying it is just fine.
All right, thank you so much, Jim, and thank you for all of the attendees who participated. If we did not get to answer your question, I do have a list here. We will email you directly to answer those questions. Now let's get on to the giveaway. I know you guys have been excited about that. We are giving away the Orange Whip Short Game Package, which is the new Orange Whip Wedge and the Orange Whip Putter. I'm using a randomized program here for all the attendees of today's webinar, and it has chosen the winner to be Sunny Yada. And Sunny, I have your email address, so I will reach out to you to get your information. Congratulations. And just to wrap up this webinar, we'd love for you to follow us on all of our social media and YouTube. Keep up to date with what's going on at Orange Whip. Maybe check out the new videos that we're making. And you can find us at Orange Whip Golf on all of these channels. All right, and if you guys need anything, you can always call us. Our phone number is 864-552-1620, and an email address to reach out to us would be info@orangewhiptrainer.com if you need anything. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.